Bernardus Tripel.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is over the yard arm. Work has finished for the day and I've got one from Belgium. An 8% triple. Now that will give you an indication of the sort of day I had today. I'm not going to go into it, but it was one of them days. And I just feel like downing a triple. Not in one, I hasten to add, because this fucker is 8%. So I've got to take it steady with this one. But these are a really good brewery. I've tried a couple of theirs before and I do remember their Vit beer has been a really nice one. And I picked this up the other day. I think it was from Beers of Europe, or was it Noble Green? I think it might have been Noble Green actually. I stand corrected. But who cares? It's here. I've got it. Now, there's quite a complicated history from this St Bernardus brewery. They do have a connection with the Westvleteren Trappist brewery. Their head brewer, Westvleteren's head brewer, basically brought the brewing know-how to the St Bernardus brewery. They were allowed to brew beer under license. I think originally they made cheese, and they're not a true, they call it Abbey Ale, etc., but they're not. You won't see the true Trappist product or any of the, the real stampings on there. And this goes back to my my recent video on the sort of marketing gimmicks that you see on some beers. I was talking about the AB InBev, the Effligem. If you watch that video, I sort of go into it there. The tenuous link that they've got with monastery brewing, and how they exploit that. They use that to market their beers, etc. This, strictly speaking, isn't a monastery beer. They say that the beer has to be brewed inside the monastery, which you would expect for a monastery beer, surely, but this isn't. However, if you looked on the front of it, you would, I'm sure a lot of people think they're drinking a true Trappist beer or a true Abbey beer, but they're not really. And it's something that, that a lot of Belgian brewers do, and there's varying degrees of how they exploit that. And I think they're at one of the extreme ends anyway. But whatever they're doing, it must be working, because they are exporting to 75 different countries. In January, they were thinking about creating a new bottling plant. Demand was that high. Now, I don't know whether coronavirus has put the blockers on that, but it hasn't happened yet. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but I know in January they were thinking about it. They hadn't made concrete plans. They were saying that they definitely needed to do it because demand was getting bigger and bigger. But because of the coronavirus, that may not have happened. Anyway, they're based in a region in West Flanders called Vatu, I think it's called. And it's a region that knows triple beer. They call it a Bernadetta, and it's named Bernadetta after the youngest daughter of the founder of this brewery. I think his name was Everard de Koninck, I think, something like that anyway. And it's down to him. He sort of give it that nickname, and that's a very small part of West Flanders. I've actually been there. Very nice place too, and that's what the triples are known as. They're not known as triples, but yeah, they're quite well known in Belgium. I mean, you go to any beer shop in Brussels or anywhere in Belgium, in fact, that sells beer, for tourism, and you'll see this definitely, because the tourists love that. They want to see Abbey beer. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the actual beer. Right, it's a 330ml bottle. It is 8%. I have got to take it steady with this one. Now, the ingredients are all in Flemish. I'm assuming that they've put some sugar in this. They normally put candy sugar in the doubles and triples. It just takes the edge off the spirit alcohol, I think, and gives it quite a nice sweet flavour. I've been reading up about this. It doesn't give any brew sheet at all. I can't tell you what ingredients there are. Of course, the yeast is going to play a massive part of this. And apparently this is good for 2 years. It's got a shelf life of 2 years. It is now August 2020. This is good enough for February 2022. So it's fine on that score. So let's get it open and let's see what it's all about. Right, this I think is the third one I've had from the St Bernardus Brewery. There is the cap. Will the autofocus work today? No. Actually, what you're seeing there is probably what my eyesight is like without my glasses, and that's what it's like when I put them on. The miracle of sight.
Turn left to Captain's cabin.
Now, let's get it into a chalice. Now, they do have their own chalice, but to be honest, I am fucked if I am paying out for every single chalice that's available for every single Belgian beer. I ain't doing it. If it's supposed to be drunk out of a chalice, I'm just going to drink it out of this. I will highly, highly contest any argument that's put forward that says it will taste any different if I drink it out of a different chalice. I really can't see the science behind that, or whether there is any, but no doubt some charlatan, some snake oil salesman will argue otherwise. Now, it does look like a very nice triple. It's the usual cloudy golden colour in the glass. I can smell that from here. It smells absolutely gorgeous. And the first thing I can smell is spirit alcohol. Wow, that's strong. And there's a lot of sweetness on there. And a lot of fruit. Getting banana. Dried banana. That's what I'm definitely getting on there. And some spice as well. A bit of clove. Spirit alcohol, definitely. And some sweetness on there too. Almost like a caramel sweetness, but I'm sure that's coming from that. They call it candy sugar. Here's a little tip for you. When you're sniffing beer, don't let the fucking head go up your nose. It'll wake you up. If you were flagging, have a sniff. Anyway, enough of this. Let's get it down the hatch. Prost, as they say in Flanders, I hope. That set the dog off. Oh, I'll tell you what, there's not much spirit alcohol on the taste, but as it goes down, that is really, really warming. I'm getting a nice warm feeling in the pit of my stomach there. That is really nice. And quite drinkable too. Carbonation is quite coarse. But there's quite a bit of banana in there. Some clove. A touch more spice. Like coriander and white pepper. And then you've got that sweetness that comes through. It's like a sweet caramel. The carbonation is quite aggressive and it's a little abrasive in the mouth. There isn't much spirit alcohol on the actual flavour, but as that goes down, that doesn't half warm up, which I think is a really nice touch. And I think they've done that with the candy sugar that they've put in there. It's not a bad triple actually. For an 8% beer, it doesn't really taste like it. I have to say the head retention is really good. Normally, that would be dissipating at a rate of knots, but it's not. It's doing quite well as it goes. Oh, what's that aroma I'm getting from that now? I'm just giving that a little bit of a swirl, agitating the carbon dioxide in there, and of course when you do that, you get more aromas. It's some sort of spice, and for the life of me, I cannot put my finger on it. Is it ginger, maybe? I don't know. Is it ginger? No, actually, that could be one extreme to the other. Is it ginger? No, I think it could be pears. How the fuck I've come to the conclusion that it's pears, not ginger. Well, that's what I'm getting anyway. But it's really nice. And do you know what? This is definitely a creeper. I've been working all day. I've been flat out. I've not had much to eat. But already, after them 2 mouthfuls, I can sort of feel it going a little bit. It's really nice. Very rich. Full of flavour. And all in all, very nice indeed. It's got everything you'd expect from a Belgian triple, but it hasn't got the harsh spirit alcohol that you get on some. And it's full of flavour. It's got big yeasty banana esters, and you've got the spicy phenols that come off the typical Belgian yeast. Now, if the fella who was at Westvleteren has given them a leg up, then you know this is going to be a good one. And yeah, this is not bad at all. So what's the verdict on the St Bernardus Triple? St Bernardus? St Bernardus. Who the fuck is St Bernardus? Patron saint of bananas. St Bernardus Triple. He's barking at the kids. Now, what a fucking hard nut. He's a proper bully. He's barking at the kids. And I'll tell you something, if them kids could turn around and shout at him, he would shit in his pants. No, he wouldn't shit in his pants. He'd shit in my pants. He would be that scared. Anyway, what would St Bernardus think of my mouthy dog? Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you what I think of his beer. It is not bad at all. The triple tastes like a triple, but it's a lot more drinkable than most triples out there. Now, I've had quite a few of the strong triples, and bear in mind this is 8%, so you've got to give this a bit of respect. And this hasn't got that big spirit alcohol flavour that you get off a lot of them. It's very drinkable, and you know, I'm down to that much. That was nearly a full glass now, and I'm down to that much, and I'm really liking it. It's quite warming as it goes down. No nasties in there at all. It's basically everything I would expect from a Belgian triple. Now, you've got to bear in mind this is 8%, so you have to treat this with a bit of respect. This is not one for necking, it's one for sipping, as are all Belgian triples. Of course, triple denotes the strength of them. There are better triples out there, of course. I think Westmalle is the one that I sort of hold in high esteem, but there are other good ones. But Westmalle is the sort of benchmark that I sort of use. I'm probably going wrong. There's others out there, you know, like Duvel, and what's the other one? The really nice one that I liked. I feel like, yeah, you really remembered that one, didn't you? Was it Castile? Oh, that might have been a blonde. That might have been a strong blonde. I can't remember. But yeah, the Westmalle is, for me, it's the ultimate triple. Triple Carmelite, of course. Triple Carmelite. That is the one. I've just seen the bottle over there. Just glanced over. It's right in the corner. That's a really nice one as well. This doesn't really compare to them, but I will give it something. It does have the drinkability that maybe Triple Carmelite doesn't have, but Triple Carmelite, what it doesn't make up for in the drinkability, it makes up for in flavour and character. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, and I think that's a generous mark for this beer. They're obviously cashing in on the, you know, the label and everything, but they've been doing it for years. I remember going over to Belgium 10 years ago and seeing this beer and thinking, oh yeah, you know, before I'd really sort of studied beer and just drank it, I remember thinking, oh, this must be something special, you know, brewed in an abbey and all that. But he looks like Ian Duncan Smith. I've just noticed that now. Ian Duncan Smith. Remember that old Tory? Now, I'm not into politics and I'm not bringing politics into it. If you vote Conservative, if you vote Labour, I couldn't give a fuck. If you're a beer drinker, then just keep the politics out of it. But he don't half look like him. But yeah, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. I'm going to stop there and just summarise it because, you know, I don't want to fucking go down any of them cul-de-sacs. But yeah, 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend it. I do remember the Vit beer standing out and the double being quite good as well. So anything you get from St Bernardus is going to be a good one. So recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.